Alice.
Hey, Eddie. How you doing?
Good. How you been?
Good. You've been safe? You've been healthy?
Yes, thankfully I have been able to. I've managed to somehow dodge the plague. How about you?
Wow. Well, I had it last December, but since I've been triple vax. We just had 53 people on the road for 2 months. Everybody triple vaxxed, and we got checked every night, and nobody got sick.
Oh, that's great. I was going to ask you how that went because I know touring is challenging this time, around this time of what we're dealing with. So I was wondering how that run went for you. It sounded like pretty good.
It was amazing. We all we cut out was the VIPs, after show VIP thing. So it was a bubble, but it wasn't a tight bubble. I mean, I was playing golf in the morning, and I was going to the mall in the afternoon, and going to the movies and things like that. But we kept pretty safe all the way through the whole thing. But I was amazed, 53 people for 30 cities, and nobody got sick. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good thing for sure. And you had my old buddy Ace Frehley out there with you.
Ace was great.
Yeah,
and Ace's band. We really kind of we've done so many shows with Ace that we really got pretty tight with those guys. So, they're good buddies. And I think we're doing some more shows on the next tour with them, too.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I thought that was a great bill. I thought that was a really cool thing to see. So the big thing coming up for you, Alice, and it's something I've hosted every one of these, and I'm looking forward to. And, of course, it was delayed a year already because of the pandemic, but you're headlining the Monsters of Rock cruise. I imagine you're looking forward to that. That should be fun.
Yeah, it really should. I just noticed, I looked on the you and Don and a bunch of guys.
Jim, the whole That Metal Show crew, yeah.
I was looking at the bands, and I was going, I think I could put a band together here of people that's been in my bands, in these bands. But, Skid Row and Tom and Buck Cherry's doing some shows with us on this next tour. Jeff Tate, Winger. Winger is my bass player.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Michael Monroe is always on, comes up and sings with us when he just cools out, So it's going to be really fun. And I think it's going to be a little bit different because, you're not going to be able to do the production.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you about that because I imagine production-wise, people go to see the Alice Cooper show. You're known for all the stage props and all the stuff that you do. How does that work? You've done cruises before, right? How do you scale down? How do you do it?
I've done one, and it was just like we were a bar band, which was very cool for the audience because they've only seen us. They've seen us in the big production, right? This is going to be Alice Cooper, the bar band. And so, we'll be doing covers. We'll be doing all the hits and everything. But you'll be seeing us a little bit more personal this time. And I think that's kind of cool. To make this a special thing, anybody on this boat is going to be, seeing a different kind of Alice Cooper. Just as intense, but, there was times when press said, well, you take all the glitz and glam away from, and what are they? And, well, we were a really good bar band.
So you're telling me the guillotine and the snake and the electric chair, they're not going to make it on the ship, right?
No, I don't think we can get them on the ship, but trust me, it'll be just as intense. I've got the best touring band out there, with Nita Strauss and Glenn Sobel and Roxy and Tommy and Chuck. And Chuck also is going to be with his band, Bisto Blanco.
Sure, yeah.
And Calico will be on the boat. My daughter's going to be, on the boat singing for him. So that'll be fun. See those guys too.
Yeah, no, and I think that's actually going to be a really cool way to see you because, I've been seeing you for decades, and of course I look forward to the big show and everything, but there is something to be said for that. There is definitely a different approach when you see an artist in a slightly different setting like that and different surroundings and just, coming out and knocking it out. It's a little bit of a different thing. And for you, it's unique.
I think it's special.
Yeah, it's unique. Yeah.
Very, very, very. It's a little bit more like the Vampire show. It's a little bit more like the Hollywood Vampires where there's not a lot of big set. There's a back set and everything like that, but there's certainly no props going on, except for my hand props, which will always be there. But at the same time, there's when you see the Vampires, it's a bar band, but a really good one. and really unique, So this is going to be kind of cool for us, I think. We'll be doing some songs we don't do in our normal set, And I'm leaving tomorrow for Cincinnati. We start in Cincinnati first show. So we go into rehearsal tomorrow. We'll be practicing some of the songs we're doing on the ship.
Yeah, I know we have limited time, but I wanted to mention that, Alice. I know you've got a run of dates leading into the ship. I'm looking at them now. Cincinnati, Toledo, you go through Indiana. Everything is on alicecooper.com, so people can see if there's a date coming your way. And since the whole pandemic, you've been out there playing, and I guess you're jumping out, doing some dates sporadically, and then going back home. That's pretty much how you're balancing it, right?
I think it's a whole different atmosphere now, touring, even though it doesn't change the show. I mean, we're doing the full-out show. In fact, it's as big a production as it's ever been. It just now you don't go out for 4 months at a time. Now you do it's almost like guerrilla theater, hit and run. So we're doing like 20 shows, and then we take a month off, and then we'll do 20 more shows, and then we'll go to Europe in July. And with the Cult, that'll be fun to do a tour with the Cult there, and so it's not one of those where you're packed and you don't get back for 5 months. That's what we're used to.
I wanted to ask you real quickly about what you can tell the audience you have coming up. Have you started already thinking about? I mean, I know Detroit Stories is still a fairly recent record. Have you started thinking about that? You mentioned the Vampires. Have you have stuff lined up with them? What's on the horizon beyond the tour dates?
Yeah, from what I understand, they're booking Vampire dates now at the end of the summer, which is great. And that I can't wait to do that. That's really a lot of fun to do. Those guys are, the guys in that band they're all best friends. So there's never any problems, And at the same time, I'm working on 2 albums right now, actually, 2 studio albums.
Oh, wow.
And all I can say is that one is written, all totally written, and we'll be doing bed tracks for that one pretty soon. And then the other one is just a touch in the future, but that's being written right now too. So they're 2 entirely different kinds of albums, but they're Alice Cooper pure rock and roll albums.
So they're both going to be Alice Cooper. They're both Alice Cooper records, but you're doing them kind of very close together. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of songs out there that are. I'm sitting here trying to write songs, and I'm going, "Wait a minute, what was that? What was this one? That was that one." So I have to listen to the actual, basic tape of the song of us writing it, and I go like, "Oh yeah, okay, now I remember that this one is." It's a bit confusing, but at the same time, the 2 albums will really be hard rock albums, but. I can't tell you too much more about them because there's some surprise going on in some of them.
Are you going to put them out at the same time, or are they going to be staggered?
Oh no, they'll be staggered. Yeah.
And Ezra's working on both of them with you?
He's doing both of them. He's doing U2 right now, so this gives us a chance to actually get everything written, lyrically and everything. But musically, it's written. It's just lyrically. I got to get the lyrics and the bed tracks are actually all on one also. So,
well, we look forward to those. You expect one to come out this year, I would imagine, right?
Oh yeah. One's coming out this year, and it'll be, it's kind of like the old days when you're touring and putting out records at the same time. It kind of takes me back to when you're doing, you're doing Love It to Death, and then you tour for Love It to Death. While you're doing Love It to Death, you're writing Killer. When Love It to Death is over, Killer comes out, and then you go support that. And while you're doing Killer, you're writing School's Out, So that we kind of piggybacking everything. And I kind of like that. It keeps everything moving. I don't like those big chunks of time when there's nothing going on.
Back in the day, in the 70s, as you well know, it was the norm for artists to put out 2 records a year. I mean, I look at the early Kiss records, and there was one coming every 6 months. So, that was kind of the norm. Aerosmith, some of those guys would pump them out. Hey, I know you got to go, but last thing from me, you on your social media, you put out a really wonderful, really touching, heartfelt tribute to Meatloaf when we lost him and your friendship
Yeah.
with him. Can you give me a minute or two on Meat? Because I didn't realize you guys were
Sure.
so close, and that was really a wonderful post that you made about him.
Well, you know, he was very theatrical, so that attracted me to him. And then those, of course, Bad Out of Hell, those albums were musicals, you know. And Stedman, you know, right? Steinman wrote all those. Yeah, Steinman wrote those really great theatrical pieces. I always would have liked to have written with him, you know. But I think it would have it felt like I was barging in on Meatloaf's world there. But, you know, we toured with Meatloaf, and he would go on stage. And, of course, he was like a Pentecostal preacher up there.
Yeah.
You know, he had his sweat rag, and his hair was all wet, and he had his white shirt on, and he's preaching. I mean, every song, he never let go of the audience, which was, I used to love that. And then the guy had the voice, monster voice. You know, he was just so good. We did a movie together. We did Roadie together. Every time I would see him, we always kind of niched out a little bit of time so we could sit and talk to each other for a while. You know, that was always just, there was a closeness there. I understood him, and I think he understood me, what we were doing. And it just always bordered on, you know, very kind of cinematic stuff.
Well, Alice, I thank you so much for the time, and hopefully when we talk again, we'll have some more time to get into some stuff. But want to remind everybody, Alice Cooper is headed out on tour. It starts in Cincinnati on the 28th of January. The dates are all at alicecooper.com, and I look forward to seeing you on the ship at the Monsters of Rock cruise. Finally, this thing is set to sail. It's been delayed. People are chomping at the bit to see you and get on the ship, and I look forward to seeing you there soon.
Yeah, it's going to be a unique show for us. You know, it'll really be fun to be a rock and roll band, but it'll be a pretty intense rock and roll band.
Well, I can't wait. It's always a great show with or without the guillotine. I'm sure we'll have a great time, so I'm looking forward to it. And best of luck on the road. Say hi to the band, and I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon. Okay, man.
See you, Alice. There he goes, Alice Cooper. One of the great iconic rock artists of all time and one of the great gentlemen of all time. Alice, never not just one of the nicest people you could ever hope to meet. Just, you know, had so many experiences with him and never anything but 100% positive and just gracious guy. And still a guy that is very, very much at the top of his game. I mean, I don't know if you can think of an artist who has managed, of course, through his legendary manager, Shep Gordon, guiding him, who has managed the later twilight part of his life and career as well as Alice Cooper has. Because Alice Cooper has been doing this since like 1970, well over 50 years. And I don't think I never hear people talk about, oh man, Alice Cooper's so old. And why don't you hear that? Well, because takes care of himself, obviously. You know, he's theatrical, so he always wore makeup and had this look that is almost turns back time because it always is static as to when he started doing it. And then he's still good. I mean, he's still good at what he does. If you've seen him recently, he sings well. He still has energy on stage. He performs well. And he made the very smart decision to always get a great, younger, energetic band behind him. And he has that now. He's got 3 guitar players in that band. Ryan Roxy, Tommy Hendrickson, Nita Strauss, Chuck Garrick on bass, Glenn Sobel on drums. And he's had this lineup now. It's probably a good 5 years. I guess Nita would still be the newest member. She replaced Orianthi, but with this exact version, got to be at least 5-6 years of this band. And as he mentioned, his daughter Calico is a part of the show as well. And then she also has a band with Chuck Garrick, the bass player in Alice Cooper's band, called Bisto Blanco, that plays on the cruise and has played other gigs as well. And has made some original music. So it's this really cool group of really great musicians that deliver every night live. There's a family aspect to it. And there you've got Alice, you know, the ringleader and still really as good as he's ever been. So if you have a chance to see him, please do so. If you're going to be on the cruises, you just heard Alice say, a pretty interesting, unique performance for him in that because it's a ship, he's not going to have all the props. He's not going to have the guillotine and the electric chair and the snake and all of that. But he's going to do more of a stripped down, straight up rock show without any of that stuff. And I think that's actually pretty cool and pretty unique. I mean, I've seen Alice a million times with the big show, and that's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes it's really cool when you can have those unique opportunities to see an artist play in a different environment and look at them in a different way. Like, I think sometimes with the real theatrical acts, you tend to listen a little bit with your eyes as well. And when that visual is not there so prominently, it might change your perspective in listening to the band. I mean, I think of when Kiss took off their makeup and everybody's like, well, they're not going to be able to play anymore, which is so stupid. But it just became a different thing. And I think people did listen a little more closely to what they were actually doing on record and live and worried about, when's he going to spit blood? So great stuff with Alice Cooper as always, and we look forward to seeing him. I look forward to seeing him on board the ship, which, well, 2 weeks from now will be at sea already, as it sails 2 weeks from yesterday.